The only thing that would have made this better is if they'd had like a special appearance. Jack Easterby, he's like shows up somewhere, and he's like, "What am I here for?" And then Vince McMahon kicks open the door and just goes, "You're fired." That would have been the best way to fire Jack Easterby.
Any sort of public shaming would have made this a better day. Like, this is already an amazing day for the Houston Texans organization and for Texans fans everywhere. But if they would have somehow found a way to make this a public humiliation, a public shaming of Jack Easterby as punishment for all the wrongdoings that he's done over the last few years, that would have been icing on the cake, the cherry on top. But it didn't happen. We'll take what we can get.
Jack Easterby has released his first public comments since the Texans made it official earlier today, parting ways with Easterby. This was the tweet from Jack Easterby's verified Twitter account. Quote, "My family and I are thankful for our time in Houston. We appreciate the opportunities the McNair family has provided us and wish the organization well moving forward."
I'll say the same thing about Jack Easterby that I say about Bill O'Brien. I wish them no personal ill will. I hope they have long, happy lives and their families are fantastic. I never want them to have professional success ever again. I don't want. It pains me that Bill O'Brien has regular professional success. I don't want Jack Easterby to ever have an NFL job ever again.
Who gives Jack Easterby his next job, and what is that job? Like, does anyone hire Jack Easterby? It's easy to say, oh, I'll make him a team chaplain again, right? He's qualified to do that. But how can you hire this guy and not be terrified that he's going to try to con his way to the top like he did here? Nobody should hire this guy. If you're trying to run a well-run organization, there are plenty of chaplains out there. There are plenty of character coaches out there who do things the right way, who don't go behind people's backs to try to move up within their organization. Like Bill O'Brien, I get why he's gotten other jobs. He had a track record of success before coming to the Texans and even did a couple of good things as the head coach here. But Jack Easterby, like, why the hell would you risk hiring that guy with all that's known and obviously stuff behind the scenes, too, that's out there about him?
It's such a fascinating conversation, right? Because what is he qualified to do? What is he qualified to do? Like, be a team chaplain? As you said, why would a team bring him in with all the baggage now that surrounds him? I feel like he's going to have to probably leave the NFL. Like, his next job, if it's going to be in sports, I can't see it being in football.
Stand-up comedian?
I've seen that set. It's not very good.
You just laughed more at what I said than anybody has ever laughed at anything Jack Easterby has said in his stand-up tour.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
This was a decision that needed to happen.
Yes.
We all agree it should have happened a while ago.
And by the way, and I know Jeremy Branham and the Killer Bee spent a lot of time on this today. You can simultaneously be happy Jack Easterby is gone and also very clearly state that this should have occurred many years ago.
Of course. It doesn't have to be mutually. The two. I guess the saying would be
it's not mutually exclusive.
They don't have to be mutually exclusive. You could have both opinions are valid.
To answer what Jack Easterby is next going to do is tough because I don't know what he's going to lie about on his resume this time to find out for his next job. Like when he said he worked in the personnel department for the Jacksonville Jaguars when that was not the case. Or the fact that he just left off that he was an athletic director for a while when he was working with the Chiefs.
What do you think this says about Cal McNair that it's happening now? Because that's the big thing, right? This didn't just happen after the season, or they did it the night of like game one of the ALCS where it'd be buried of the Astros. They went out of their way to leak this out to Adam Schefter at 8 o'clock in the morning earlier today on a Monday, following their bye week. And Cody, you made the point, well, maybe they wanted to wait till after Caserio spoke last week, so he's not going to be asked questions about it now. Okay, good point. They still waited till Monday morning of their first day back from the bye to make this decision. I think they wanted everyone to know that they're moving on from Easterby. They wanted to try and put it in a position where it gets the most attention possible. What do you think that says about Cal McNair?
The NFL news cycle moves as fast as it's ever moved. You can go from the front page of the NFL to the back page. It happened to Tom Brady the very day he decided to retire. Brian Flores shortly after that. It was like, oh, okay, well, Tom Brady, great story, but Brian Flores, better late than never is what I would say with Cal McNair. And there have been, there's instances in history of billionaires and people in power being tricked by people, being conned by people. We see it year after year after year. We see it typically in a financial way. People end up investing lots of money into Ponzi schemes or businesses that aren't real and things like that. Like, it's okay to admit you made a mistake. Would I have enjoyed it if Cal McNair had admitted that mistake a lot faster than he did? Yes, but it's better late than never is the category that I would put it in. And I would tell you, again, we fall into the actions speak louder than words category on this show. The actions of the Texans over the course of this football season, and now the biggest action, getting rid of Jack Easterby, have shown you they want to get away from the perception that they had as an organization. They want to get away from the way people thought about this organization, and they want to do as much as they can, as fast as they can, away from the football field. Because there's a timeline on the football field that, like, you can't fast forward through the season. You can't get the 2023 NFL draft here right now. You can't get that franchise quarterback in right now. You got to go play the games. It's the old cliche, the one day at a time. Like, okay, they go to practice today or whatever. They go to practice Wednesday. They get ready for the Raiders on Sunday. Like, that has a set time that you can't accelerate. But you can do a lot of stuff away from the football field to try to distance yourself from where you were and try to improve your standing from where you were, and the Texans have done that.
Yeah, I think you bring up a lot of good points, right? Better late than never is how I would describe this thing. I think Cal McNair deserves a little bit of credit for actually doing this because, like you said, Cody, we see billionaires make bad decisions, and then they double and triple and quadruple down. Like sometimes the ego. It's not just billionaires who have egos. Like everyone's got an ego. Sometimes you make a decision, and you want it to work because it's your decision, so you ride it out as long as you can, longer than you probably should. That's clearly what happened here. Some guys don't make the move to move on. They just keep rolling with it and just hope it's going to turn around. I'll give Cal a little bit of credit, at least, for finally realizing something that he should have realized years ago, and making this happen. But ultimately, he deserves a lot of blame for letting this happen because he did get conned by a guy who was nowhere near qualified to do half the things that he was doing within this organization. And I don't know if there's a single person in that building who's going to miss who's going to miss Jack Easterby. Like, not just the people you see on TV or the people you hear about, the people who release statements. The behind-the-scenes people are not going to miss this guy at all. And it sure feels like the Texans won the bye week, fellas. We talked about the timing of this, Jake. Getting rid of Easterby. Also, the Browns lost again. If the season ended today, the Texans would have 2 top 5 picks. Thank you very much. A lot of the other teams that the Texans are competing with to have the worst record in the NFL won this past weekend because there were so many upsets in the NFL. Feels like the dark cloud that's been over NRG is kind of shifting a little bit, and you're starting to see a little bit more light, more than you've seen around there in a long, long time.
Look, it's better late than never. I mean, that's really what it comes down to with Jack Easterby. And there were so many fans that, even despite some of the improvements maybe the Texans made, some young players on this team you could be excited about, we hear the phone calls, we read the tweets, see the texts. It would always go back to Easterby. And it's tough if you're a fan of this team to fully buy into this front office and this ownership group when the guy that had a huge role in why you're in this spot where you're probably picking in the top 3 of the NFL draft for the 3rd straight year is still within the organization.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there would have always been a portion of this fan base that didn't buy into this regime and this organization if they didn't fire Jack. Like, even if they were able to turn things around, there would still be people who were pissed that this guy was a part of it, was allowed to be here and reap some of the benefits of the turnaround despite all of the things that he did. So, look, I'll be honest. Once again, I just praised Cal McNair a little bit for finally making this decision. It was a slap in the face to Texans fans that this went on as long as it did. It really was a slap in the face to people who invest a lot of time and money into their franchise that this guy who had no business being where he was continued to have jobs that he shouldn't have had. That's unacceptably bad. So, yeah, if you're a Texans fan and you're pissed about all of this, you should be pissed about all of this. Once again, the good news is it's finally done. It's finally in the rearview mirror, and you can focus on this next chapter of the Texans story without having to deal with football Osteen anymore.
713-780-ESPN is our phone number. Let's go to Lamont in Missouri City who wants in on the conversation. Lamont, thanks for making the call. You're on the Wheelhouse.
Hey, fellas, what's up? I'm kind of fascinated, intrigued by why did this happen right now, and then it just hit me. I wonder, are we about to get ready and get some kind of bombshell out of this Brian Flores lawsuit with Josh McGowan and that dude was probably more integral inside of that hiring process than, well, I ain't gonna say than we thought because you guys was talking about it and stuff, and I just really wonder if this has something to do with that lawsuit, and that's all I have, fellas.
Interesting thought. Maybe we'll find something out over the next couple of days, right? We haven't heard anything Flores lawsuit related in a couple of days, maybe weeks, but I don't know if there's some sort of tie-in with that and this.
Well, anything from the Flores situation would not be just about the Texans. It'd be about the entire NFL. And this doesn't help the Texans a ton nationally. It helps them more locally. Like, I mean, our guy Mike Florio has been covering this basically from the beginning and been highly critical of the Texans for allowing Jack Easterby to do some of the things that he's done. But most fans probably look at the situation and go, who the hell was that? Well, why is this on NFL.com? And they may not even click on the story. They don't even know who Jack Easterby is. So I don't know that helps them much nationally in the perception of the Texans. Helps them a little bit locally, though. Helps. I mean, I had a friend call me today about this, and he said, I'm back. He goes, now they got to win. He goes, I'm going to pay attention again. I said, good. Welcome back. It's professional football. There's 32 of them.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
It's a move they should have made in the offseason to get more people invested versus waiting till they went 1-3-1 to start the season to do something like this. But I don't think your friend is alone, Cody.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You did it. You made it through another one of my videos. Look, if you're a Houston sports fan, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to my channel right now. Like this video. Plus, listen to the Wheelhouse, the show that you just watched on YouTube. You can listen to it on the radio every single weekday from 3 to 7 p.m. on ESPN 97.5 FM and 92.5 FM.